Imagine My City, what we're trying to do is to really ignite young people's dreams, visions, imaginations for what their city would be like if it was full of nature.
What's been well documented by Richard Louv and others, who coined this term, the nature deficit disorder, is that a lot of children, now with families living in cities, and here in New Zealand too, are having often limited or even perhaps no time in nature, perhaps spending a lot of time on screens.
I think Nature Through Art's collective approach is sort of looking at how do we first engage kids, get their excitement to go, oh, that is actually something that we can do. We also wanted to connect arts and science together. Arts is often seen as the intuitive way and science is often seen as the logical. What we're finding here is that blend is bringing up all sorts of rich interactions. So we had sort of three main creative interventions, didn't we? We had an iterative kind of theatre that took place in the bush in our pilot site, where we had actors and artists and nature specialists coming together to create a fusion of arts and science to explore your neighbourhood in a completely different way. And then that led to the 100-day challenge. And again, that was about empowering young people to then explore their own ideas of what a nature-rich city could look like or their neighbourhood might look like. Writing, producing a book, it could be a piece of digital film, it could be a piece of artwork, it could be photograph, sculpture. So this is the culmination of all of those creative interventions, and the kids have got all their art on the wall. We've got the journey of what happened. And so it's a showcase of all of their thinkings, their dreams and visions.
Amazing artwork, inspirational young people. So thank you, thank you. Wellington, I like to think of as the natural capital. Of course, being the capital of New Zealand, we have government and all of those institutions here. But we also have incredibly special biodiversity and some very important connections between nature and the city. A daily dose of nature is really good for people's mental and physical health. So the Imagine My City project with nature and arts fits right in with our strategic vision for the capital.
Our intention, which was to test or pilot a community-based learning model. So from the community themselves that we work with, they said, well, it's also been about the community developing a stronger connection with its local green spaces.
The highlight for me has been seeing our favourite space come to life, and the way the Theatre Day used the whole area was I found that fantastic. It brings people out of their houses. It strengthens your identity, what kind of community you are.
UNESCO was our principal partner in this project.
A great partner to work alongside because we just seem to be very linked.
I think one of the strengths of this project, and one of the reasons the National Commission for UNESCO decided to support it, is that it fits really beautifully within the Education for Sustainable Development dynamic, which UNESCO leads. It's really working towards supporting children and young people to think critically about their environment, their place in nature and how they interact with it. So that was definitely a strength. And it was also fun, it was also engaging, it kept the interest of the children and young people. And I know that they learned something from the day and from the whole activity.
Well, the children were so intuitive, whereas adults are a bit clumsier. It's more with our artworks and the public sculpture, and to witness it firsthand.
Like the natural intelligence of children. I think the whole project kind of brought that out, brought that to the forefront. That the kids, they didn't need to be prompted to come up with these fantastic ideas. It was more just facilitating them expressing that in an adult kind of context, like the gallery at the end.
So what I've been observing, actually it's really interesting in this exhibition, is that it seems to be trees and more trees is one theme, very powerful, and also along with that tree houses. It's on all the wonder walls, there's pictures of it, and there's an amazing tree house that's being created as well out of ice block sticks, amazingly sophisticated. Well, the kids seem to be talking about balance a lot. They don't want their suburbs to grow bigger, and they don't want less green space. They want a balance between that, which is kind of interesting. And some kids have completely turned the apocalyptic future that we're all given in youth fiction these days, that actually nature has completely taken over now. Nature hasn't been gutted, nature's gone the other way, and technology has just gone. So, that's quite a sophisticated take on turning that around.
I think that's the point that we're at now.
Yeah.
Really is around engaging partners about what now.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
Isn't it?
we're engaging with those people that were involved. So it's actually the local community go back to Mount Cook and say, what's going to happen here next, and with partners like Wellington City Council,
Zealandia.
It's all like, just so what do we find out, and where does that take us to next?
Now, if we're going to have a sustainable city and a sustainable world, we need to start taking into account not just the needs of our youngsters, but their ideas.
It's the kind of project that we would be very happy and proud to share with UNESCO internationally.
It's something, a framework I'd like to see more in education models all over the world.
Pablo Picasso, says everything you can imagine is real, which is a hugely esoteric kind of statement, but it's about the power of the imagination. If you can imagine it, it could be real. So I'm taking that really powerfully from this point in this project, is that we'll just imagine with everybody what's going to be next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely.